So you're ready to buy a home in the suburbs, but it's still competitive. Yes, the market has changed a lot, but we are still seeing multiple offers and it is a competitive market. So here's what you need to learn and what you need to know about buying a home on the main line right now. Hi, everyone. I'm Ian Perler with the Ian Perler team at KW Empower, and we are helping people every day buy and sell homes in the city and in the suburbs. And right now, we are still seeing a very, very competitive market in the main line. So I want to chat a little bit about that today. What you can do to make your offer stand out, what you can do to find the right home for you, and sometimes it's not always about price. Sometimes it is about terms and working to make sure that you are fulfilling the needs of the seller for the home that you are interested in. So let's talk about it. We're going to kind of focus in on the main line today and a little bit of what's going on there, along with some strategies that we walk our clients through that help them when they're looking for a home. So the first thing to know is when you're looking in the suburbs, it is still a competitive market. Uh, Overall, it is different than it was several years ago, but still relatively competitive, and we still do see multiple offer situations. So, what does that mean? It means that good homes sell fast. So, houses that are priced appropriately, that are in great locations, that hit the number of bedrooms and bathrooms that you're looking for, and are well staged and well maintained, generally sell relatively quickly. So don't sleep on it. Don't wait. Don't think, oh, I have time. The market's cooled off. You still need to be aggressive. We have to get in quickly. You have to look at the house and we have to make decisions quickly. So, what does that mean? It means start your search early. It means take time to understand what you're really looking for. And when you do see that home that checks the majority of those boxes of what you're looking for, maybe it's school district, maybe it's location, maybe it's style of home, maybe it's bedrooms and bathrooms, commute to work, could be all of those things. But when you find a home that does fit those boxes, make sure that you are jumping in 110% and being aggressive. Um, I always like to talk about price because a lot of people think that it comes down to price. And yes, it does, right? You do have to have a good offer price, but I see it over and over and over again. Sometimes the highest price doesn't win. And why is that? Sometimes the seller uh, has specific terms. They don't want to close for 60 or 90 days. They want to close and do a rent back because they need to buy another property. They need flexibility on closing date. They're concerned about issues in the house. So if you did an inspection prior or a pre-inspection and you're waiving those contingencies, you might be able to get your offer accepted at a lower price compared to a higher price where someone has a lot of contingencies. Maybe they're concerned about the mortgage terms from another buyer and your terms are stronger. So a lot of it comes down to how clean is your offer as far as contingencies goes. Do you have a strong price? And are you flexible with the terms that are important to the seller? So how do we find that out? So the first thing we do is when you do find a house that you do love, we call the other agent and we try to be investigative reporters. I ask them lots and lots of questions about what they're doing and what they're looking for. So when we find the house that you do want, we work really hard to make sure that we hit those check boxes, right? We want to get that offer in quick. I'm going to investigate what they're asking, what they're looking for, making sure to find out what's important to the seller, right? We want to put all that together to make sure that we're submitting terms that make the most sense for them, right? And so if you're thinking about somewhere on the main line, maybe Ardmore, Wayne, Villanova, Newtown Square, Haverford, you're looking somewhere in that area. We need to make sure that when we put in those offers, that it is number one, a solid offer that makes sense for you, but also is really, really appealing to the seller. So Financing. If you're getting financing and not paying in cash, which a lot of people do, there's a lot of different ways to get financing, right? So you have a pre-approval versus a pre-qualification. Going through and being fully underwritten for your mortgage is really important. So in a competitive market, if you're fully underwritten and basically are saying, I can close on this house in 2 weeks if you need me to, because I already have all my mortgage stuff lined up, I just need the house, that makes your offer way more appealing than someone that needs 30 or 45 days to settle. Now, for a seller who needs more time, it could or could not be a big factor, but it is really important to have that. The more airtight your finance contingency is, if you have one, and the further along you are in that process of submitting paperwork to underwriting and doing all that with a mortgage lender, is really important. So if that is something that you need help with, we do have some great people we work with that we can put you in touch with that can get you basically to the finish line, and make sure you have everything ready to go. And basically all you need is a house, and they can quickly turn that into, that, get rid of that contingency and get you the financing that you need. The other thing we have to do is be flexible when it comes to inspections. Yes, due diligence is important. Yes, having an inspection done and multiple inspections to make sure the house isn't going to be a money pit. No one wants to buy a money pit, but we need to make sure that when we do that, that the contingency makes sense. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can do a home inspection contingency. You can do a walkthrough with an inspector prior to putting your offer in. So they'll walk through the house, they'll look for all the big items, not really the cosmetic items, but the big mechanical, roof, electrical, plumbing, kind of the larger systems of the home. They'll take a look at those items for you and make sure, they're working or what the status of them are. And then you can waive that inspection because you've kind of done one. Or you could do an inspection for informational purposes only and say, like, we're going to do an inspection. We're going to make it, instead of a standard 10-day window, we're going to make it a 5-day window or a 7-day window. And we're only going to do it for informational purposes only. So we're going to just so we know what we're getting into. Or you could do a full on inspection, which again, depending on how many offers they receive and how aggressive it all is, can play a big factor. Be prepared before you shop. So again, we talked about it, having your pre-approval in place, knowing where you want to be, really diving into what's important to you, location wise, house wise, is really, really important. And you got to be strategic. You can't, you have to be very focused on what you want. You have to know what you want. You have to know where you want to be. And you have to be really strategic about looking at those homes that check the boxes. And when you find one, you need to be aggressive. Um, and that's why you have an agent to help support you. And hopefully that's us. But that's going to show you the path to hopefully getting you that house. And even when we put all these things in place, sometimes it can be difficult, and we don't get everyone, but we do get a lot of them, right? And so being aggressive and doing a lot of the things that we're speaking about will help you get to your ultimate goal of buying a home in the location that you want. I think creativity is another big thing that people don't look at. A lot of people say, like, I want a 4-bed, 2.5-bath house. Okay. Well, if you find a 4-bed, 2-bath house and we go look at it, it might be really easy to add a powder room somewhere on the first floor. So I think being creative in the house and like looking maybe at something that's not perfect for you, but is very, very close to that, is important. We have contractors, we have people that can help do those projects. Or you find the perfect home at a great price, but the kitchen's outdated and you wanted a brand new kitchen. Great. Well, you might be able to do those renovations based on the price. It's in the perfect location. So you have to kind of weigh what's most important. Is it that it's renovated, that you don't have to do any work, that it has those 4 beds, 2.5 baths? Or is it, I don't care as much about the location as long as I'm in the school district and but I want the house to be perfect. I don't want to do anything. So again, we gotta weigh those options, and it's hard to know until you're kind of like in it, and really looking. But ultimately, there are some other things you can do. Uh, Price escalation clauses. Uh, you know, when is the seller asking for too much? Like, when are they being too confident in what they're asking? Like, hey, I want to close next week. I want to rent it back and stay here for another 3 months. You pay all the bills, but I'm going to live here for free. There are those situations. Um, so I think you have to know when to walk away if it doesn't make sense, and when to kind of maybe be a little bit more aggressive uh, with price and terms to get you in the house that you want. And sometimes it just makes sense to wait to the next one. Sometimes it's really hard. You're putting that square peg into the round hole. And sometimes it's really hard. You want the house so badly that you're forcing it, and the worst thing that you want is to be in a house that you settled for that you ultimately won't be in for a long time, because then there's a lot of costs involved with that, rather than waiting a month or two for the house to come on the market that's a better fit. You're pushing and pushing and pushing, and that can ultimately lead to some buyer remorse or regret, uh, and kind of settling for a house that doesn't feel right. So waiting is sometimes the best thing. And if you're in a rental or in a house right now and you don't have a lot of flexibility, um, I've had clients move back in with loved ones, or do a short-term rental, or work with their landlord to go on a month-to-month lease. These are all things that you can do, um, you know, to make the offer appealing, but also give yourself some flexibility so that you're not so pressured to find the house today. So, if you've been watching this long, I hope you're getting out a lot of great information. Again, my name is Ian Perler with the Ian Perler Team at KW Empower, and we help people from the skyline to the main line find their dream home, or sell. So please subscribe. Please watch this. If you have any questions, please add it to the comments below or reach out. All my information is in the description. We're really here to help serve you in the greater Philadelphia area, and we would love to hear from you. So I hope this was good information today. Please add some more information to the chat on anything maybe you want to see in the future, any videos that would be helpful for you. We want to shoot them so that you can get the information that you need. And my last bonus for today is just make sure that you take your time to think. A lot of people rush, and a lot of people make decisions that they ultimately regret at the end of the day. So take the time to really sit down before you search, to get all your ducks in a row, and to make sure you really go through what's important for you and your situation. You know, make sure you really think about it. Is having that half bathroom a make or break thing? Is having a garage a make or break thing? Is the location and being on an acre of land a make or break thing, or is 3/4 of an acre enough? These are all things you got to kind of think about before you really dive into your home search. I know we get really excited when we're like, yeah, I'm ready to buy, my next home or my future home or my dream home. But take the time to really sit down and do that. And it will pay dividends once you start looking and when you find your home. Thanks again for tuning in today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Ian Perler from the Ian Perler Team here at KW Empower. Thanks so much.